Yeah, it has been a very interesting week, to say the least. We were blessed by the presence of Hurricane Michael here in North Carolina, and it was not enjoyable here. So I can't even imagine what it was like for the people of Florida, and our thoughts and prayers are with them, definitely.
Message from you that all of a sudden it was headed your way and you were without power, I immediately was like, how do you get hit twice within a matter of weeks? So, but glad you're with us today. And like you said, we're thinking of everybody else that was affected by the storm.
Yeah, so, and there may have been a few people here at the very beginning. The audio was dragging a little bit, so they may have missed the actual opening there for a second, but we're all good to go now.
Okay, we're all good to go now. Speakers are going. So again, RotoBaller Game Day live for Week 6. We're here ready to roll. We're going to go through inactives. We're going to take your start sit questions. As always, we'll make sure that we get to those coming up here soon. But real quick, before we get rolling, let's jump into these inactives real quick, because there's a couple here that caught me off guard that Jake had to tell me about as I was making notes. So real quick here. So a few questionable calls. Chase Edmonds is questionable right now, which doesn't seem like a big deal. But if he is out today, David Johnson gets everything. Every snap, every carry, every target. That's only good news for David Johnson, who has been somewhat of a disappointment so far this season. Devontae Freeman, obviously out at this point. That's already been called. Tevin Coleman, we're going to talk about him in a minute. Is this his last chance to prove his worth? Greg Olson, questionable, but expected to play. So the hashtag #NeverFunchess is in play here today because he's coming down. So Gio Bernard, obviously out as well. Joe Mixon, another huge work day coming up for him. Tyler Croft is out. He has a broken phone in his foot. So Izuma could be a decent start. If you're out there needing to stream a tight end, he could be a guy that you grab. Rashard Higgins is out. Callaway gets a nice little boost today as well.
Don't smile when you say that, Kyle. Don't smile too much.
Okay, I won't. So Deshaun Watson is questionable, but expected to play. If you have him, don't overthink it. Put him in your lineup. T.Y. Hilton is out. Chester Rogers in PPR leagues gets a nice boost for me, a guy that has 8 catches and 11 targets each of the last 2 weeks. Eric Ebron is active. They called up a tight end from the practice squad earlier in the week, so it wasn't looking good, but he is active today, so he's the guy that you probably want to have in your lineups. Ryan Tannehill is out today. So we're going to sit all Dolphins because we're not going to leave it up to chance.
No, we don't. We don't trust Brock Osweiler, is what you're saying.
We don't trust Brock Osweiler at all. Devontae Parker is questionable but expected to play. But again, it doesn't matter because we're not playing our Dolphins today. Dalvin Cook is out. Just coming across the board a few minutes ago, Dalvin Cook is out. He was a guy that I had in my lineups, and more than likely when Jake does let it flow, I'm going to have to change a couple of lineups real quick because he's still in there. Isaiah Crowell is active. We'll talk about him in a few minutes. Adrian Peterson, questionable, but should play because it sounds like everybody in Washington is either banged up or out. Paul Richardson sounds like he is going to play, but Chris Thompson is out. Jameson Crowder is questionable. Doesn't look like he's going to be going either.
When is the last time we could ever say, and sorry to cut you off there, that Jordan Reed is the healthiest Redskin?
Yes.
Never. I don't think I've ever said that until like yesterday, maybe.
That's like 4,000 to 1 odds at the beginning of the season if you're placing bets on that. The late games, Leonard Fournette, obviously out. Fire up TJ Yeldon. I've talked about him quite a bit recently. Sony Michel, questionable. He's been limited all week. We expect him to play. I don't see any issues with it. I think it was just precautionary. Josh Gordon, questionable, should start, but it is a hamstring. If he starts, does he finish? Rob Gronkowski, questionable, but he should be all good. So those are all the injuries, all the actives and inactives that we're going to continue to pay attention to over the course of the next hour here on RotoBaller Game Day. Make sure you stay tuned so we can catch you up on all that news as we go. Before we move on and start getting into this a little bit more, though, got to hit that like button. Got to go down there, hit that like button. Jake and I have been putting in tons of work on this, and we appreciate everybody tuning in, but we want to make this the best week so far. So go down, hit that like button, tell your friends and family, anybody out there, they need to be over here watching RotoBaller Game Day on YouTube with Jake and myself. Let's see how many viewers that we can get today. And also, if you're watching right now and you haven't subscribed yet, we're closing out on 8,000 subscribers, so let's try and get as close to that number as possible today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that for us as well. Just keep in mind, for Jake to let it flow, we need a lot of likes, so start hitting that like button. But let's jump into a few of there's the helmet. I thought you were going to turn the sign on for a second.
No, the sign doesn't come on until it's actually activated. It's like in what is that, Talladega Nights, when we say slingshot activated or activate slingshot, whatever he says. That's what the
Slingshot,
engage slingshot. That's right.
All
See
right,
there,
so
I'm
let's
so
jump this.
discombobulated from not having any idea of anything power related for the past few days.
That's all right. You're fine. We
Okay.
trust you.
Perfect.
Everybody trusts you.
Everybody.
Let's jump to this. I want to talk about Tevin Coleman real quick. Is this Tevin Coleman's last shot to prove that he can be the guy? Because he's playing for a contract somewhere else next year. Atlanta is not going to give him a deal because they've already given Devonta Freeman a huge deal. So is this Tevin Coleman's last shot to A, prove that he can be the guy the rest of the season in Atlanta and get the majority of the workload? And B, is this his last chance to prove, hey, I deserve a huge contract and to be the lead guy on another team next year?
Yeah, I don't think it's his last shot, honestly. The NFL is kind of one of those businesses that it's, what have you done for me lately? He can go out there and get 60 yards rushing this week, and if Freeman misses next week and he goes out there and rushes for 150 and 2 touchdowns, all of a sudden he's catapulted right back up to the top of that conversation. It's a league with a very small memory. You know, I mean, if you go out there and you produce for a week or two, then they kind of forget about it and all of a sudden crown you as the savior of all things NFL football, and that could be Tevin Coleman. Even if he struggles today, which if he struggles today, personally, I think we have a little bit of a problem, especially going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's one of the worst run defenses in football. He's going to have the full workload. We talked about it earlier in the week about having an Ito bit of a problem. That is something that could eat into some production, and if Ito gets the hot hand and Tevin's not producing, it's going to lighten the chances that the Tevin has going forward, though, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been great in the weeks that Freeman has been out. The first week that Freeman was out, yes, Tevin Coleman had a decent matchup, performed well, but since then it's been a whole lot of ugh. And that's not what we want to see, because that's a really good offense, and an offense that's getting a lot of opportunities right now because of how bad the defense has been. If Tevin Coleman was like a 1 and 2 down running back that we relied on to really pick up the yards on the ground, maybe not nearly as concerned. But the fact that he hasn't even been making that big of an impact in the passing game worries me a little bit. So I personally do feel like this is his last shot. I feel like we need to see something out of him today to warrant him being the option there in Atlanta moving forward. If not, when Freeman gets back and he's ready to roll, last week with Freeman got a majority of the touches. It's going to continue to happen. And in week 1, when Tevin Coleman was having a good week, we saw him get a majority of the touches. And we thought maybe that's what was going to happen all season. But he hasn't taken a hold of that job yet. So we'll keep an eye on that. This week, I think he's going to have a good week, a nice matchup against Tampa Bay. I don't see how he can't have a good week. So he needs to perform this week to start gaining some of that confidence back. Jake, are we trusting Greg Olson today? If we own him, is he in our lineup?
I want to say no. And I live in Carolina, so I have to say that quietly because I don't want other people to hear me say that. But here's the issue. The tight end position is so thin anyway. I mean, there's really not very many options out there. If Olson plays, he's going to be a target of Cam Newton, no question. The problem is if he plays, can he last the entire game? If you have a better option, I'm not chancing it this week. But I understand if you really don't have another option, because there's not a whole lot of options out there, especially if you're in 12-team leagues or larger, and you're just wanting to take a stab. I mean, he's not a bad play when he's healthy. We just don't know how healthy he is, and this is one of those injuries with that foot injury that could just keep him out. He can go out there a series and not be able to go any longer, and that's a real risk to take with your starting tight end.
Yeah, more than likely, if you own Greg Olson right now, you may have grabbed him off waivers, because there were a lot of people that dropped him right after the injury because there's a lot of people who didn't expect him to come back. So if you're an owner that grabbed him off waivers and added into your team, you probably have another tight end that you've been trusting so far this season. Continue to trust that tight end for this week. I would even start like a guy like Cameron Brate. Even with OJ Howard being active, I would probably start Brate over Olson this week, just because I think the touchdown upside is better for Brate. And Olson, I mean, yeah, if he gets out there and he gets through one drive and he says, nope, can't do it, and he's down again, or he takes drives off to keep himself as healthy as possible and as refreshed as possible, you run into issues there. And I'm not one that wants to deal with that, especially taking that chance here in week 6 with him just being back. So again, though, if you don't have any better options, if you've been dealing with injuries because the tight end position has been a little bit of a mess this year, put him out there, keep your fingers crossed. But I would be trying to find something a little bit better at this point in time. I was going to ask you next, are we starting Dalvin Cook today? But no, we're not, because he's not even starting.
Nope.
So we're gonna X that one off the list here real quick. Isaiah Crowell, he's been questionable all week long. Coming off a big game, what are we doing with him after last week's performance? What are we doing with him this week? Are we trusting him?
I mean, we ask each other every week, and maybe not directly or indirectly, but Isaiah Crowell is just not somebody you're ever excited to put in your lineup. Ever. Like, you just don't ever say, hey, you know what? I feel good about playing Isaiah Crowell this week. Like, that just doesn't ever happen. But maybe we should start to lean that way a little bit. I mean, he has been productive. The problem is he got in the doghouse there for a week and got 0 yards after he used the football to wipe his backside against the Browns. The week after that, he did nothing. Then he comes out and rushes for over 200 yards. He's going to have work in New York, but Bilal Powell is going to be a part of that system going forward all year long. Is it going to be something where you can rely on him consistently week to week? No. But matchup-wise, I have no issues throwing Isaiah Crowell out there. I know he's been banged up on the injury report this week, but I'm not totally off him as a flex play this week. If you're in a pinch, you got somebody on bye you need, maybe you had one of the Lions receivers, something like that, you want to throw him in as a flex play. The upside is there, obviously. I mean, he's had a couple huge games so far this year.
Yeah, and it's been up and down, up and down, up and down. I am excited. I can't talk about it too much today, but I have some new stuff we might be dropping this week. We might be doing an extra video over on RotoBaller YouTube because I have an announcement that I'll be making about some projects that I've been working on. So I'm really excited about getting all that information out. But based on that project and some information, Isaiah Crowell has some upside every single week because of how well he's been running the football. And again, it's something that I'll have to get into more later on in the week, but I just want to throw it out there so everybody watching knows to keep their eyes out. Keep an eye out for a special video this week. We might be dropping some more information about this project, and we'll get you some more information there. But Isaiah Crowell on a weekly basis has a really high ceiling because of how well he runs the football. Even with Powell being there, doesn't matter to me. He's going to get a lot of the receptions and things of that nature. And if Crowell's banged up, he'll get a lot of touches as well. But Crowell's ability to run the football on the ground is just being overlooked right now. So we'll talk about that more later on. With all the injuries in Washington, this matchup for Adrian Peterson, what do we think about that? Is he a guy that we're trusting as at least a running back 2 this week, or do we need to be worried about him?
I'm not touching Adrian Peterson this week, to be completely honest.
Okay.
I don't want anything to do with it. He's dealt with his own injuries. I mean, he just had a dislocated shoulder last week that, he popped back into place and continued to play, which is, definition of a man's sport right there. But I'm not trusting it. The Carolina defense is not a pushover by any means. They're not going to have to really worry about the outside. They're going to be able to key in on the run, take away Adrian Peterson, and there's really limited options there on the outside with all the injuries they have. I'm not personally going to touch Adrian Peterson this week. I'll hope that they get a little bit healthier and revisit it again next week in week 7 maybe.
I personally like Adrian Peterson this week.
Of course you do.
No Chris Thompson. I know we're talking about Capri Bibbs quite a bit, but Adrian Peterson, a lot of people haven't noticed how well he's been catching the ball this year. He's got Alex, like I like to call him, Alex Checkdown Smith as his quarterback. And a lot of the catches and things that he have aren't design plays, but he's done well enough on those dump offs with his yards after the catch, receiving yards after the catch, that there's a possibility today that he could be featured a little bit more on those pass plays where it is more of a designed running back pass. Bibbs is going to get a little bit of work today, but just because of how much is going to be there for Adrian Peterson, I like him in this matchup due to a volume play today. Like you said, Carolina's defense is no pushover, but they are giving up 18.13 points to opposing running backs. If Adrian Peterson got you between 18 and 20 points as your running back 2, you'd probably want a little bit more, but that's not something that you would scoff at either.
No, absolutely not. But he's also, I think, one of those guys who has a really low floor today. Even though he's going to get the touches with no Chris Thompson, I'm just not overly... He's the type of guy who needs 20 to 25 touches to get you a productive day. He's not one of these guys who busts the big plays anymore. He needs huge volume. And how we may think the volume is there today, but like you said, Capri Bibbs is in the mix. I would not put it past the Gruden coaching staff there and taking a little bit away from Adrian Peterson since he has been banged up over the past few weeks. I mean, heck, just 2 weeks ago in the bye week, he was in a walking boot, had the shoulder injury this past week. He's not going to be able to recuperate from these injuries as fast as he may have been able to 10 years ago. I'm just playing it easy with Adrian Peterson personally.
So AP has gotten 53% of the touches this season. And that probably would have been a lot higher if it had not been for last week and his lack of use after going out with the shoulder surgery, because he only had 25% of the touches last week. So that would be actually a lot higher. But this season, he's averaging 5.6 yards per touch. That's some elite company this year with as many touches that he's getting and as well as he's doing with those touches. He's up there with the elite running back options right now. And we don't look at Adrian Peterson back when he was a sprightly 23, 24, 25-year-old for the Minnesota Vikings, but he's still doing enough this year that I personally like him this week. So Jake and I will be split on this one a little bit, not as split as if it was Amari Cooper per se, but that's a different conversation that we can have. Cooper doesn't get a hashtag. Don't start with me. We're not doing that today.
It's hashtag Amari Pooper from now on.
Did you say that on one of your shows?
I may have.
Okay, because I saw people on Twitter saying it. I was like, we haven't used that before. So
I may have. Guilty.
It must have come from Jake.
Guilty.
I responded back with hashtag always Amari. But anyway, whatever. So in the late game today, or in these afternoon games, Sony Michel, he's been questionable all week. He's the guy that I've listed as a must start along with James White this week. Jake, do you think he's a must start with the injury concerns?
I think everybody in that game on both sides of the ball, New England and Kansas City, are all must starts this week. I mean, this could be one of those.
Except Chris Hogan.
Yeah, don't put Chris Hogan in. But I mean, all the main pieces I'm talking about, I have no issues with any of them. I mean, you got everybody on the Kansas City side. I'm even fine with Sammy Watkins this week. That's how good I am on this game. I like Sammy Watkins. And I don't know if I've ever hardly said I like Sammy Watkins very much, but this week, I like some Sammy Watkins.
I don't know if I can go as far as say as I like some Sammy Watkins.
So you can say you like Amari Cooper, but you don't like Sammy Watkins this week.
Yep, I'll say it every time.
I give up.
Show over. Screen goes black. We're done.
And I'm stopping the stream in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, you're obviously a liar, but that's all right. So, Sony Michel, like I said, I listed him as a must start this week. This is a great matchup for him and James White. Kansas City Chiefs giving up the most receiving yards to running backs this season. James White is about ready to go off for a huge PPR day. So if you have him, get him in there. I've got him way up in those rankings for myself. Really excited to see what he has today. Real quick before we start moving forward, a couple of different things. Number one, we've already said it, but the video, we have 607 people watching right now. We only have 111 likes. If you want Jake to let it flow, we need some more likes, and that's going to be coming up here in a soon. So like the video. Please do that.
I got to have 250 to let it flow, Kyle.
Ooh, we need 250 likes if Jake is going to let it flow. So you might want to start liking that video, people, because it is by far the best segment anywhere on Sundays. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong.
If I did it on Tuesdays, it'd probably be the best thing on Tuesdays also.
The best thing since sliced bread, right?
Or duct tape.
So that's number one. So we got to get that going. So get that up to 250 likes. Number two, if you don't know yet, we have a giveaway going on right now. Jake, it's a pretty nice giveaway too, don't you think?
Yeah, I tried to enter, but I was told I was ineligible.
So if you want to win yourself or have the chance to win yourself a signed official NFL Nike jersey by Alvin Kamara, then there's some steps that you want to do. So if you have Twitter, run over to my Twitter handle, at krich1532. My pinned tweet will give you all the steps that you need to do to have a chance to win a signed Alvin Kamara jersey. And again, it's on an official NFL Nike jersey. So this is a sweet little prize that we're giving away here. So there's 4 steps that you have to do. Make sure that you do all 4 of those steps for us. Number 1, do that. Okay. One of them is subscribing to YouTube. So if you're over here and you haven't subscribed yet, just hit that button real quick. Okay. If you don't have a Twitter account, go create one. Go out there, create a Twitter account, join us over there. Great community. We are answering all of your questions. I'm super active over there. So join Twitter, enter your email address, subscribe, follow everybody on there, RotoBaller NFL, and myself. Do all of those steps, and you've got yourself a chance to win an Alvin Kamara signed jersey. So we will get that going here. We've got that up. We've got that running. Make sure that you retweet, do everything there so you get yourself a chance to win that. Jake, why don't we take some questions real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're at 227 likes, so we're getting a little bit closer, but we need more. So we'll take some questions till we get there.
Heck yeah, they're getting there, but they've been flying in like crazy. I even have somebody with the first question today say, "What's Twitter?" Go to your app store. It's a little blue bird with like a blue bird with a circle. You click on it and you log in, or you sign up for a new account. It's quick, it's easy, and then you can see everything that Kyle and I put on Twitter, and then you'll know what Twitter is. Then you don't even have to touch it. You just sit there. It'll show you everything. But let's get into some actual start-sit advice, because I know I couldn't even imagine how many questions we've gotten here, and we've only been streaming for 24 minutes. But we're going to get into it. First one here, and it's a good question. We talked about him here a couple minutes ago. It's Greg Olson or George Kittle from Sodi. And George Kittle is kind of somebody who's up in the air. He's the Monday night start. What happens if all you have is Greg Olson or George Kittle, and you don't want to risk it on either one of them? Is this kind of one of those situations, Kyle, where you may go pick up like a Uzomah from Cincinnati, maybe?
No, I like Kittle. I like Kittle a lot. So if I have Kittle, I want him in my lineup. I'm not going with Greg Olson over George Kittle. There's no way.
Well, and me neither normally, but Kittle being injured in the Monday night game, and he's supposed to be one of these guys who's determined there right before the game. What happens if he can't go and that's the only guy you have left?
Yeah, it's risky, but I'm willing to risk it because he's CJ Beathard's favorite target. He's shown that the last couple of weeks. Marquise Goodwin is obviously not healthy right now. It's just, he's really the option. He is the guy there right now in terms of Matt Breida isn't healthy right now either. Someone's got to catch the football. Someone's going to have to do it. George Kittle's the guy. I don't think George Kittle is going to be out. If he is, obviously that stinks, and my bad on that call. But if it was my team, I would risk it with George Kittle. I wouldn't even think about it personally.
Yeah, I mean, normally that would be my top choice too. What about let's see what else we got. How about Isaiah Crowell, or we're gonna do it first time of the day, Kyle? Kiki, do you love me? QT as your flex play. Kiki or Crowell?
Is it PPR?
It doesn't say, so we're gonna assume yes.
In PPR, I would probably lean QT just a little bit, not much. Crowell for sure in standard though.
Yeah, I agree with that. Crowell in standard is the better play. Let's see what else we got. Wow, how about this one? Hello, guys from Dubai. Watching us all the way in Dubai, you have David Njoku or Austin Hooper for a tight end in a standard league. Me personally, what are you going to say? I'm going to let you go first, I guess.
I'm going to Njoku.
Okay,
I'm
good.
going to Njoku. They have said this week that they need to start getting him more targets. It's going to happen. He's been playing well enough this year. Austin Hooper, he's had some good games, but he's still not a guy that I fully trust to produce like that every single week. Njoku is the guy that I would trust to start producing better as we go forward in the season. So I'm going with him.
Yeah, because it would be really weird if you could produce an Njoku, because that would just get awkward. The people really don't want to see that. I mean, I don't really want to see that, and I consider us pretty close friends. But you know what I mean. But yeah, David Njoku going forward is probably going to be somebody who you want to start here for the next few weeks. Have you seen his schedule coming up here? After this week, he's got the Chargers. Then he goes against Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Atlanta. I mean, that is like murderer's row for tight ends coming up here the next few weeks. If you have him, get used to starting him, because I think you could maybe use him here for the next 4 or 5 weeks.
For sure.
What about... let's see, Aaron Jones or Shady in a flex play for Christopher Thornton?
I'm going to go with Aaron Jones, and that might be a little bit of a risky play by some people's standards, but it's not for me. It's been acknowledged all week long by Green Bay, the problem last week with getting Aaron Jones enough touches. Have they said they're going to get him more touches? No. But Aaron Rodgers likes Jones in the backfield. That's who he wants back there. And honestly, Aaron Rodgers should get what Aaron Rodgers wants. Plus, Aaron Jones has been by far the most effective running back that they've had this season. He needs to be back there more. I think he's going to be back there more. And this is a matchup that could turn to the running backs for Green Bay, and I expect Aaron Jones to get a majority of those touches. So I'm going him this week.
Yep, I actually had Aaron Jones in one of my shows this week as somebody who I'm kind of wanting to buy low right this second, especially now since a lot of people are kind of hopping off the train because they don't think he's really produced anything. The guy's been putting up solid numbers. He's just not getting the touches. Once the touches come, the numbers come. So, yeah, I agree right there with you. What about are we comfortable playing the concussion brothers there in L.A.? We have Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks. And something we haven't really talked about here yet, the weather in Denver is not ideal. Right now it's snowing in Denver, and it's like 20 degrees, which is absolutely crazy to think about. Now, there's a chance of only like 20% of the snow flurries happening at game time. But at that point, there's going to be snow on the ground. It's going to be cold. It's going to be frozen. Does this affect that high-powered offense of the Los Angeles Rams, and it doesn't make you want to sit any of those receivers. We'll talk about Woods, Cooks, or Kupp.
If I had to pick one of the three that I would want in my lineup, it's probably Kupp. I think he would be, from a volume standpoint and a PPR standpoint, I think he'd be the most reliable one. And then I would probably go Woods next and then Cooks after that, because I think Cooks is really going to be reliant on that one big play. If he doesn't get that one big play, it might be a few hodgepodge catches and yards here or there throughout the game, but there's not going to be any real significant volume for him. I think that's a game where they try to get the ball out quickly. They're going to go with Todd Gurley quite often in that game as well. So Kupp, I'm okay starting, but the other two I would be a little concerned about having in my lineup if I didn't have better options than them.
Yeah, and I'm okay with Woods too. I think Woods is kind of somebody who's a little bit of a safer option. Like you said, though, with Cooks, he's that real big play dependent, and those may be limited in the weather. One thing we had a couple people ask about Latavius Murray. Now that Dalvin Cook is out, how confident are we in Latavius Murray going up against the worst run defense in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals, at home? Is this all of a sudden the perfect storm for Latavius Murray this week where he could have a big week?
It was a perfect storm a couple weeks ago when Latavius Murray was expected to get a huge workload against the Buffalo Bills, and we remember how that turned out. For this matchup, if I needed him to fill like a flex play, running back 3 play, I guess that'd be okay. I don't know if I really want to put him in as my running back 2. I do have worries about him at that point. The offense, as far as passing, has just been so efficient without having a running game at this point that it's a tough call. It's a tough call because I really don't want to put Latavius Murray in my lineup and lose with him again like people did, a few weeks ago when they played Buffalo and got hammered. So I don't know if I'm super interested in having him in my lineup if I have to, but if you do, if Cook was going to be a solid play for you today and you don't have him anymore and you have to put Murray, then at that point I'm okay with it. But I do want to try and find better options. I'd rather go with like a PPR guy like Hines or, I was going to say Chris Thompson. He's
Eckler.
In there. Austin Eckler.
Yep.
Someone like that is who I would rather have.
Yeah, I agree. And we got one here that says he's a new subscriber, so welcome to the channel. Day Night is the name, and he has a defense question. We don't answer very many defense questions, so I'll throw one out there. He's asking about the Jets D or the Carolina D, and which one would you start between the two this week?
You said Jets D or Carolina D,
Jets
correct?
or Carolina, yep. So you have the Jets against the Colts or Carolina against Washington.
All right, I've got Carolina as my 14th overall defense against Washington, and that is above and beyond the Jets. So, I'm sorry, I have the Jets at 9. Wrong team. I have the Jets at 9, so I'm going with the Jets against Indianapolis. No T.Y. Hilton, so no huge potential big plays to give up there. Eric Ebron is, he was questionable. He is active now, but he's a little banged up too. So we'll see. I think the Jets have a better week.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I may be on the other side, but I'm not going to totally disagree because then we're totally going to confuse this guy and which one is he going to listen to, and it's his first time subscribing here, and he's not going to know. I like both of them. I think both of them are good plays this week. Personally, I think Carolina going up against a Washington offense that is totally banged up. Like we said earlier, the only healthy piece really is Jordan Reed. And outside of that, they're a little limited with their options. I think both are going to have decent days from a defensive perspective. And yeah, I'm fine either way. You said the Jets. I like the Jets matchup with the Colts also.
Excellent. So we are at 265 likes right now.
All right, then. That shot up quite quickly. Things escalated quickly with that one.
That means it's almost time to let it flow to 12:31. So we're halfway through here real quick. I think, Jake, you should promise the people something. Okay.
What?
We're at 742 people watching, 265 likes. I think if we get to 350 likes, that you'll let it flow twice today. What do you think?
Twice. All right. We gotta get what, 350? You said. Oh, well, now it's going. Let's do it. Let's go 375. We'll split it right down the middle. 375 likes, and I'll let it flow twice for 2 minutes at a time.
Ooh, 2-minute let it flows today. If we can get to 375 likes, we have 759 people watching right now. I just want to start throwing my arms up in the air. I'm going to knock my stuff down. Let's get this video all the way up those rankings. Let's get 900 people watching at the same time today. Let's do that. Jake is going to let it flow twice.
I'm just going to get prepped.
75 likes. Might as well get that helmet on there and get ready to roll. Let me get the timer out here real quick.
And I don't know what's happening lately. And those of you who have watched the show for any amount of time know that this is like complete fun right here, right? This is not like a serious bit, but we like to have fun with it. Before we get a bunch of comments, if you're new to the channel, yes, my head is big and it's a child-size helmet. I know this. I know this going into this whole process. That's what makes it funny, and I'm all about trying to make fantasy football a little bit more fun, because otherwise there's a lot of boring stuff out there. I'm not about being boring. Let's have some fun with it.
Yeah, so someone just said they don't know what Let It Flow is. You're about ready to figure that out. So we're going to get ready to let it flow. I've got the timer set here for 2 minutes. Jake's forcing the helmet onto his head. I feel like it's getting smaller each week.
It probably is. What's hard is trying to keep my earpiece in so I can actually hear you while I do this.
We already passed 375 likes, by the way.
Well, isn't that just wonderful? Thank you, people.
Oh man, the people, we do it. We give the people what they want. I tell Jake that all the time. So
I get 2 water breaks today, right?
Do what?
I get 2 water breaks today, right?
2 water breaks, okay, absolutely.
Good.
So we're going to get ready to let it flow here. 793 people watching. Let's keep liking the video. Let's get this thing over 900 today. The sign is on. We've got 2 minutes on the clock. Jake, are you ready to let it flow?
Yes. Yes, I am.
All right, he is ready. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this thing on. 3, 2, 1. Let it flow.
All right, we got Corey Davis or Quincy Enunwa. Give me Quincy Enunwa. He's a little bit more consistent, and last week was an aberration. Yes, I just used the word aberration, and it's really early in the morning for a lot of you. Turn it up, Jake. What do you want me to turn it up to? I got it up as loud as I can. I'm talking through a child-sized helmet. O.J. Howard or Cameron Brate? Give me Cameron Brate. He's the favorite target of Jameis Winston. Letting it flow, Brate or O.J. Howard? I don't want anything to do with O.J. Howard as long as Jameis Winston's the quarterback. Give me Cameron Brate. Demaryius Thomas or Hines at your flex? Give me Hines. I don't want to deal with Thomas in the snow right this second. We got Kiki or Allison in an STD league. That's a really creepy league, but I'm going to go with Kiki. We have Aaron Jones or Jordan Howard. I think Jones is the safer play this week, but if you want to gamble for the higher upside, you go Jordan Howard. Full play PPR 2. You need Sanu, Fuller, or QT. Give me Sanu for sure. He's the safest bet. And then I'm all about Kiki. Do you love me, QT? Michelle or Howard? Give me Michelle. Like the upside, and starting everybody in that game. Emmanuel Sanders or Tyler Lockett? I'm going to go with Tyler Lockett now that there's a snowstorm in Denver. Let's go with tight end of the football variety. Hey, I like it. Brate or Njoku? I'm going Njoku. I think the breakout starts this week, and I'm going to continue with it. White or Yeldon? I want both. Don't make me choose. I'm going to say White in a PPR. I guess it really doesn't matter. I want both of them, but I'm going to go with James White. Njoku or Brate? Still Njoku. Same as the last question. Collins at all? Only if you really, really, really need a running back. Otherwise, I'm going to sit Alex Collins this week. Peterson or Cohen? Give me Cohen all day long. Quarterbacks, Watson or Goff? Would have been Watson before the weather. Give me Jared Goff still. I still think they produced in that cold weather. Dalton or Luck? Give me Andrew Luck this week. He's going to throw the ball a bajillion and 12 times today. AP or Carlos Hyde? Give me Carlos Hyde. I'm not touching AP. Boyd or Baldwin? I say Boyd is the safer play, but I'm personally going Baldwin. I think the turnaround starts this week for him. Demaryius or Taylor Gabriel? Give me Taylor Gabriel. Njoku or Reed? I'm going Njoku, sticking with him. They're fit for life.
And that is 2 minutes. You were flying there for a couple minutes. You even threw in a couple of words that we don't normally use.
I said aberration, and I said it on camera so people know that I actually said it. It's like proof of it now. I don't even know if it meant in the context of what I was saying, but you know what? I was letting it flow.
And when you let it flow, it's like you black out, and there's so many things going on around you that you just don't understand.
It's like Will Ferrell from Old School. When he answers that question, he blacks out. That's what happens every time I put that helmet on. It's the lack of blood flow, though.
That happens. That's okay. But it's for the people, like we say, for the people. Let's jump over here real quick. We're gonna give Jake just a moment because he's gonna have to do this again in a few minutes. So we're gonna give him a moment. Over 400 likes, 824 people watching right now. Thank you so much. Still just under half an hour left in the show, so let's continue liking. Let's keep moving this video up the ranks. Let's get around 900. If you're over watching on Twitter, thank you so much as well. Don't want to forget about all of you. But this is This is a great YouTube channel. I have to be proud of the people we have watching right now. So thank you so much for that. So let's jump back into this real quick, giving Jake a minute going through some of these options here on injuries. I was trying to check my phone too to make sure I didn't miss any news. With injuries going on. Okay, just want to make sure. Chase Edmonds questionable today. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but DJ gets all the touches if Chase Edmonds misses today. Devontae Freeman obviously out. Tevin Coleman gets a huge boost. I like him a lot this week. If he's going to produce, it's going to be in this matchup. Greg Olson has been questionable, but he should play and be out there. I'm downgrading Funchess because of that. Gio Bernard obviously out. Joe Mixon gets a huge boost. Continue to because of his workload. Tyler Croft is out. Uzuma gets a boost. If you're looking for a streamer this week, I would check him out. Rashard Higgins is out for Cleveland. Callaway gets a nice little boost for me because of that. Deshaun Watson, questionable, but expected to play. If you own him, he's in your lineup. Don't overthink it. Tyler Hilton is out, or T.Y. Hilton is out. Sorry, Tyler's further down the list. T.Y. Hilton is out. Chester Rogers gets a nice little boost, especially in PPR leagues for me. Eric Ebron is active. He's been questionable all week. They did promote some from the practice squad, so it wasn't looking good, but he's going to be out there today. Ryan Tannehill is out. Brock Osweiler, that's right, that name continues to float around, is playing today for the Dolphins. I'm not starting any Dolphins. Frank Gore, Kenyon Drake, Kenny Stills, Albert Wilson, doesn't matter, not playing them. Don't want him in the lineup. Devontae Parker, questionable, expected to play. Still don't want him in the lineup. Dalvin Cook was a surprise scratch. He is out now. Isaiah Crowell is active. Good running back too, potentially. Has had some big weeks. I'm going to continue going with him. Jake, just for you, coming across from SleeperBot right now, Amari Cooper trade rumors. Raiders discussing potentially dealing the wide receiver.
Does it say to where? So I can pray for that team in advance?
Adrian Peterson, questionable. He should be playing, though. Everyone else on that team seems to be hurt, especially Chris Thompson. He's going to have a huge workload today. Jake's not a fan. I am a fan. We'll have to check back in on that one later in the week. Crowder, not expected to play. Paul Richardson is active. Like I just said, Chris Thompson, inactive. Leonard Fournette is already out for the late games. Fire up TJ Yeldon if you have him. Sonny Michel has been questionable all week, but he's been limited, and that's probably just precautionary reasons. I'm still putting him in a really good matchup. Josh Gordon should start. Hamstring issue, though. Will he last the entire game? Rob Gronkowski, questionable. Should be good to go. And there we go. That is, again, getting back to those news and notes. Let's jump back into some of these questions real quick. Non-PPR from my man Brent again. Baldwin or Lockett in non-PPR?
I really want to believe in Doug Baldwin, but I have gotten a lot of flack for promoting said Doug Baldwin here this year. But people got to realize he didn't play in the preseason. He basically missed the first 3 starts of the year. This is like his preseason. And yes, he had 1 catch for 1 yard last week. I get it. They're in London. It's not ideal this week. But if they're going to continue to try to win games in Seattle, Doug Baldwin has to be a part of this process. He's somebody who's averaged over 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns the past few years. He's going to get involved. He's working his way back into health, into full game speed. I'm going Doug Baldwin this week. And I know it's not the popular pick because Tyler Lockett has been killing it so far this year. I mean, he's got touchdowns in 4 out of 5 games. He's been involved in the offense. I just think that those numbers start to decline because they're going to start going towards Doug Baldwin's way.
I'm still going with Lockett this week. He's played well enough at this point that I think he has, even in non-PPR, I think he has Russell Wilson's trust at this point. So I'm going to continue to roll him out there until I'm proved differently. Reggae Rockin' says, I'm not watching this show anymore.
He said that like 2 weeks ago and he's still here.
We're tossing up the deuces, Reggae. But you keep coming back because you can't. You can't go a week without watching us. That's okay.
You can't quit us.
It's probably because of Jake, but that's all right. I'm okay with that.
Hey, somebody told me I look like Chuck Norris. I like that. It's better than the Seth Rogen crap I get all the time. I am not Seth Rogen. I saw one earlier. I am not Seth Rogen. I am not related to Seth Rogen. I've never met Seth Rogen. I tried to get in contact with Seth Rogen, but he ignored me. I'm nothing to do with Seth Rogen. Let me get that off my chest.
What are some other questions?
Nothing about Seth Rogen. What about he says, typical XY, I never get answered. Yeldon or Coleman? Well, you're just going to get answered, and you happen to catch my eye. So Yeldon or Coleman this week, 2 guys taking over for some guys who are injured. I like Yeldon a hair more, and that's only because we have that little bit of a problem in Atlanta that I've talked about numerous times, and Yeldon has been very productive the past few weeks while Fournette's been out.
Yeldon, I have as my running back 10 this week. Tevin Coleman is a few spots behind at RB 14, but TJ Yeldon, I've talked about him in articles quite a bit recently. Yeah, if Leonard Fournette is not in the game 100% healthy, TJ Yeldon is in your lineup.
Yes. What about Josh Gordon or Chris Godwin? Those are two hard names to say next to each other. Gordon or Godwin. I liked Godwin a lot more a couple weeks ago when Fitzmagic, the Magic Man, was the quarterback. But now with Jameis Winston, I think Mike Evans and everybody else and Cameron Brate get a larger bump there. So I'm buying into the Josh Gordon as a flex style play because I do think that he progresses in that offense, and it's a Tom Brady-led offense that's going to put things together. And once he starts getting more work, he could put up some big numbers.
Yeah, I don't want to make that decision, but I would put Josh Gordon in.
Yes. You don't feel good about it. You feel like you need to go take a shower, like you're dirty a little bit. I get it, but you got to make one because he said he never got answered, so we had to answer it.
Yeah.
Good job on taking one for the team there, Kyle. What about Alfred Morris or Nyheim Hines from T2 Shifty?
I'm going with Hines, especially PPR. I know that Marlon Mack is back, so that could potentially hurt a little bit, but I think Hines is gaining the trust of the offense and Andrew Luck. The thing with going with Alfred Morris is that Breida is still questionable right now. There's no guarantee he's going to be out, and it's a Monday night game. So if Breida ends up playing, Morris loses a lot of value, and then you're stuck watching your Monday night matchup saying, oh, Lord, please, Alfred Morris, get me some points. Fantasy gods, help me out here. I don't want to do that. I'd rather take the chance with Hines and then not wait to see what happens later.
Because he used one of the correct nicknames, I'm going to say it here. How about we go with Amari Pooper Cooper or Robbie Anderson? Which one would you go? I know which one you would go. Do I even need to ask you?
No, you don't.
Yeah, you're going with the Pooper. I'm going
always Amari.
Always Amari. I stick with my hashtags. They may not be the popular pick for the week. They may have great matchups, but you know what? Never Pooper. I'm going to Robbie Anderson.
This is the thing, though. I'm not breaking any rules this time because I didn't come up with this hashtag, and I don't agree with it.
This is my hashtag. So therefore, I can use it whenever I feel necessary. This is one of those times. Let's see. What about Jared Cook or Jordan Reed for Carl?
Oh, I'm going to have to check my rankings here real quick because I feel like those two are really close.
They are probably really close to me without you checking your rankings. I'm just going to say, to me, I think Jared Cook is a little bit safer. He's the safer option. But with all those injuries in Washington, if you want to gamble a little bit on a huge upside day, it's Jordan Reed. It's just more of a gamble than Jared Cook is, in my opinion.
I'm going with Reed. I do have him above Jared Cook. I think they're really close, though, so I don't think you can really make a wrong decision either way.
Yep. Agree. What about Sony Michel or Nyheim Hines for Dylan?
Michel.
Yeah, Michel. The only thing that worries me, yes, and I know I've seen a lot of people posting here in the chat saying that he's questionable right now. What happens if you don't have that insurance play? What if he does sit and it's the Sunday night game and you have no other options? There's always that chance. I mean, look at Dalvin Cook. We thought he was going to play today. He went out there pregame, tested it, realized he wasn't going to be able to go, and they sat him. That's a potential for Sony Michel. It doesn't look likely, but if you want to play it safe, then Hines I don't think is a bad play either. Just depends if you want to gamble in that late game or not. What about how about a quarterback question? Deshaun Watson or Jameis Winston? Are we aboard this Jameis Winston bandwagon this week, Kyle?
I don't know if I want to be. I know a lot of people are, but I'm not jumping on it. Deshaun Watson against Buffalo. I know it's a little bit of a tougher matchup, but I still have to go with Watson this week. I'm not chancing it with Winston.
Yeah, I mean, I know Winston is a popular pick of a lot of people out there this week to be like a great streaming option. To me, he just turns the ball over too much, and there's always that way to kill a drive, and he always seems a way to find it. So yeah, I'm going to Deshaun Watson. Let's see. What about Baker Mayfield or Andy Dalton for Jordan?
I'm going with Andy Dalton this week.
I really, really, really want to say Baker Mayfield. Like, I really want to do that. Like, if I'm willing to gamble a little bit, I'm going Baker Mayfield this week. I think the upside is there. He's just not the safer of the two options. Like you said, Andy Dalton's a little bit safer play for sure. How about Matt asking about Ronald Jones or Marlon Mack? First of all, you have my condolences on your fantasy team. I'm not overly thrilled on either one of them, to be completely honest. I wouldn't start Ronald Jones over, I don't know, remember Deuce Staley? I'd rather start Deuce Staley at this point than Ronald Jones. I'm not on that bandwagon. I know it's a great matchup. I know people are all over Ronald Jones. Oh, I am not on the Ronald Jones bandwagon. I would rather put Kyle in that Michigan helmet sitting next to him and throw him in the backfield before I start Ronald Jones. However, Marlon Mack is not much higher on my list. So I'm just going to roll the dice and say Marlon Mack and close my eyes.
So for this one, it really comes down to who has the potential to take away from the other running backs on their team. Marlon Mack at this point has to take away from Jordan Wilkins and Nyheim Hines. Hines has been playing very well lately. Wilkins hasn't been doing great, but he's been doing enough. So because of that, because of how poorly Peyton Barber has played, I'm going to go Ronald Jones if I had to pick Ronald Jones in this format.
I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go throw up now. I could never say that. I don't know how you did it.
I did, but I swallowed it, so.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
You shouldn't.
I'm not even going to.
All right, let's take 2 more minutes of questions, and we're going to let it flow at 12:50. We're at 425 likes right now, so far exceeded what we had asked for.
We should have asked for more. Next week, we ask for more people. What about Mohamed Sanu or Ryan Grant? Those are 2 good choices there probably for like a flex play for H. Chambers. I think both of them are safe plays this week. What do you think?
No, I go with Sanu. That's an easy pick for me.
I mean, Sanu does have the edge, but I don't think Ryan Grant is a bad option this week. He didn't produce like we wanted him to last year. I think Chester Rogers gets a little bit more of the volume there, but he still put up double-digit fantasy points in PPR leagues last week, so it's not a bad play. Oh, yeah, I'm not reading these comments. I know you see them. And those of you who are typing them, I see them, but I cannot repeat them. I will be unemployed had I read some of these comments.
Hey, if we're not here to give some solid fantasy advice along with some laughs, then what are we doing with our time?
Exactly. Fantasy is 50 part of it. The other 50% of it's humor. What about Big Ben or Cam Newton for a quarterback for Katoma? I think is how you say it.
Cam Newton. I've got Cam Newton as my QB4 this week.
I would agree with that. Cam Newton has my vote also. How's another one? Just subscribe. Billy Gooseney, Hines or Kittle, and Watson or Wilson. So, I mean, I'm guessing one's for the flex play, so I'm going Hines over Kittle 100% right there.
I'm going Hines over Kittle as well. Even though I like Kittle, you go with the opportunity for more volume.
Yep, exactly. Plus, I don't know about you, Kyle, but I never flex my tight end.
Very, very, very rarely.
You like that play on words too, don't you? Yes, you do. You probably didn't catch it, but a lot of people out there probably did.
I didn't. Okay. We've already said enough at this point.
Okay,
I was
good.
trying to get past it.
The second half of his question was Winston or Wilson. Which one of that?
Wilson.
Yes, I agree with that. Wilson, even though they're in London sipping tea, I'm still going with Russell. Hashtag Never Funchess lives on. Thank you, Justin. We appreciate that. What about Corey Davis, Kiki Do You Love Me, QT, or Keelan Cole in a half-point PPR?
I'm going to go with Corey Davis.
I think Davis has the highest upside play there, and he would be my choice also. Mm-hmm. The football kind, yes, Dante, that kind too.
It's 12:51, so I think we need to get this flowing again here real quick. So 448 likes, 770. Oh, it was 771, 767 now. So I want to see that thing go over 800 again, but that's all right. So let's set this timer up again here real quick. Keep liking. Couple things real quick for Jake lets it flow again. Number 1, okay, like the video if you haven't done it. But number 2, please make sure you subscribe. If you are watching right now and you have not subscribed yet, we would truly appreciate it. Closing in on 8,000 subscribers. We would love to be there by the time videos drop next week. So if you could help us out and get us there, as always, we greatly appreciate it. Also, to go with it, we are giving away a signed Alvin Kamara jersey right now. So if you are on Twitter, head over to my Twitter handle, @krich1532. The pinned tweet is the giveaway. Make sure you follow all of the steps on that. You've got to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You've got to retweet. You've got to follow us. And you got to enter your email real quick. So 4 steps for your chance to win a signed Alvin Kamara jersey. And it's on an official NFL Nike jersey, okay? best kind out there. So definitely get in that. If you haven't done it yet, head over to Twitter at krich1532. Follow all the steps, and we'll be good to go. Okay, Jake, let me get 2 minutes on the clock here again.
Yeah, give me 2 minutes because I'm immediately regretting not taking a sip of water before this. So let's see how this goes.
All right, ready?
Yes,
3, 2, 1, let it flow.
Go. All right, so we got Andrew Luck or Phillip Rivers. Give me Rivers. He's safer. Calvin Ridley or Josh Gordon. Ridley is the best bet against Tampa Bay this week. Cousins or Newton. I like both. Newton has the higher upside. Support these guys. Absolutely, Dante. We appreciate it. Grant or Godwin. Give me Grant. I think he's the safer bet of the two this week. Brate or Burton. Burton really hasn't done a whole lot. Give me Cameron Brate with Jameis Winston. We have Cam Newton or Matt Ryan. I'm going Matt Ryan, actually, there. I think that's a shootout against Tampa Bay. Russell Wilson or Blake Bortles. Please don't ask me any more Blake Bortles questions. I will always choose against him. Boyd or Ridley. Ridley and PPR. Yes, give me Ridley. Freeman or Keelan Cole. I didn't catch the second half of that question. My apologies. And plus, only Freeman I can think of right now is Devontae Freeman that you'd probably be asking about. If it was Royce Freeman, don't start him. Boyd or Cup, give me Cup 100%. Dede or Dion in a flex, give me Dion Lewis this week only. Jordy Nelson and Larry Fitzgerald, rest in peace, Larry Fitzgerald. His offensive days are over. Give me Jordy Nelson. Thanks, Jake. You're welcome, Dylan. Allen Robinson or Doug Baldwin. Give me Doug Baldwin. I think the turnaround starts this week, even though Kyle doesn't agree with me. Gordon or Davis. I'm going Corey Davis. He's a little bit safer at this point. Jags D or Panthers D. I'm not going against the Jags D. They have all the turnover upside and the sacks. Anunwa or Kiki. Anunwa turns it around this week. Give me Quincy. D-Jax or Corey Davis. Give me D-Jax in that shootout. Juju or Cup. I like both. Please don't make me choose. If I absolutely had to, I say Juju, but I'm not overly happy about it. Boyd or Sanders. Boyd is safer. Sanders is going to be playing out there in a snowsuit. Cam or Goff. Goff also in a snowsuit, so give me Cam. Ebron or Kittle. I really want to say Kittle, but with the injury, I understand if you start Ebron. I like both of them this week. Gabriel Robinson or Anunwa. I'm all aboard Taylor Gabriel's career taking off over here these past few weeks. Edelman or Ridley. If this is PPR, I'm going Edelman. If it's standard, I'm going Ridley. I heard the bell going off, but I'm ignoring it because I'm feeling it. We got Kiki or Chester. Give me Chester. We have Brate or Cook. Jared Cook is the safer option. Brate has the high touchdown upside. Godwin or Gabriel. Actually, it's Goodwin or Gabriel. I'm not touching Goodwin. Give me Gabriel. Browns or Titans. Neither really, but give me the Browns and cross my fingers. And then I'm out of breath.
I was like, I'm just going to let you go. Like, I'm not going to try and stop you at all. So just go ahead and keep rolling with it. But that was solid. I think that was your best ever yet.
What happened?
Where am I?
Where am I?
It is now week 17, Jake. You have slept through the entire football season.
And I'm spent.
So that was a good one. Thanks to Jake for putting that all together right there, letting it flow twice. Awesome effort on his part. As always, the people appreciate it. We're closing in on the end of the show here. It is 12:55. Jay, get yourself a sip of water. Let's answer a few more questions real quick. Let's get these people some answers here real quick. Kyle's Crushers, we're going to throw it to the side. We're not going to worry about it this week because these guys have questions and we need to answer them. What'd you say?
Because every time you name them, they get hurt. You're like the new Madden curse.
This is true.
All right, so what am I asking the questions or are you asking the questions?
It doesn't matter.
You ask them because I still can't breathe very well.
All right. So let's go. David wants to know Enunwa or Watkins.
I'm not going against it. I said it earlier. I'm starting every offensive weapon that I can in that game. Give me Sammy Watkins.
I'll go with Enunwa.
Of course you will, because we're not going to agree about anything on this show. Next question.
Jake Rogan, Seth's little brother. Sorry, had to throw out there. PPR, Thielen. I'm guessing that's Landry. It says Landry. Thielen, Landry, or Edelman. Need to from Ugly Guy. You should come up with a new name there, bud. But I'm going Thielen and Landry.
Yes, same here. Those are the best plays there out of those options.
Wilson or Mahomes?
I'm not sitting Patrick Mahomes ever.
Yep. Yeah, Mahomes.
I would play him against like the 85 Bears.
Baldwin or Cooper in PPR?
Never Pooper.
I'm gonna go with Cooper in this one.
Oh, shocker!
Shocker. Pick two: Will Fuller, Latavius Murray, or Emmanuel Sanders from Dave. I think I'm gonna go with Fuller and Sanders. If it's PPR, if it's standard, I'll go with Fuller and Murray.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to have to read these again. I'm going to go back up to the question here because I spaced out, to be completely honest, because Dave was on my live show last night and it was 4 o'clock in the morning, so I'm starting to wonder if Dave ever sleeps. So you had Will Fuller, Murray, or Sanders, and you said Fuller and Sanders?
Fuller and Sanders and PPR, Fuller's and Murray and standard.
Yes, I would agree with that. And Dave, get some rest. I mean, we're starting to watch some football. Are you ever going to sleep? All right, moving on, Kyle.
Tyler Lockett or Deshaun Jackson, PPR flex. I'm going with Lockett.
I'm going with D-Jax.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going the London game. It just throws things off. You know what I mean? It's just things are going to be a little bit different.
John Brown or Deshaun Jackson? John Brown for me.
Still Deshaun Jackson.
Ooh, okay. All right. So a little bit of hold here. Dave says he's got a young kid. I don't sleep. We all feel you, Dave.
Much respect. Yes.
So Kiki or Fuller? I feel like I have to go Fuller still.
I do too. If Fuller's healthy and playing, then I'm picking Fuller every time there, just for that touchdown upside with Watson.
Kiki would be a little bit closer in PPR, but Fuller, I'm going with him still. Let's see. Kiki or Fuller, we just answered that one. Another one popped up, same question. Keenan Allen or Calvin Ridley? I'm not benching my studs, and Keenan Allen is still a stud for me.
I like both of them a lot this week. I don't know who your flex play is, but I would try to throw one of them in there if you didn't have a better option in your flex. But yeah, I'm going Keenan.
Chester Rogers or Taylor Gabriel in the flex? Playing standard league.
Standard league, give me Taylor Gabriel.
Ooh, I'm going with Chester Rogers. Anthony Miller doesn't concern you at all?
I don't think so. And this is going to be kind of hard for the people to understand that I really don't have a solid answer because look at what they did 2 weeks ago before the bye week. The way they ran that offense and how successful they were. Yes, Trubisky is not going to come out and throw 6 touchdowns a week by any means. But I think they realize he's not one of those quarterbacks that's going to live and die by the deep ball. They're going to have to get the ball into their playmakers' hands on short routes. I'm really looking for Taylor Gabriel and Tariq Cohen to thrive here over the next few weeks.
Last one, Aaron Jones or Lynch?
Normally I would say Aaron Jones, but I'm going to go Lynch in a revenge game this week.
Lynch for me as well.
Yep.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. It's 12:59. Set your lineups. Hurry up. Do it real quick. Make sure you get your players in there. If we got to your questions today, awesome. Thank you for asking them. If we didn't get to them today, sorry, we didn't get to them, but still awesome that you were asking them and joining us here today. A great episode today. Thanks to Jake for all of his efforts. Make sure if you scroll down, hold on. I'm so used to saying it. If you scroll down, yes, you can follow us on Twitter. So
yes.
Scroll down a little bit. Make sure you click on Jake's handle. Make sure you click on my handle. Follow us over on Twitter. Keep in mind, again, we're giving away a signed Alvin Kamara jersey. Go to my Twitter handle, @KRich1532. Head over there. Follow all the steps in my pinned tweet. Make sure you get your shot at the signed jersey. Jake, why don't you give him your YouTube channel real quick because you're over there popping with some great subscribers.
That's right. If you haven't checked out the Fantasy Headliners, I put it on the wall here just so you guys could see it. Go check it out. We're almost up to 24,000 subscribers. Really appreciate the support over there. And if you're not subscribed over there, go over there, check it out after this show. Now you'll have 2 channels to get all your fantasy advice, and you'll be set for the rest of the season.
Yep, Jake and I drop a waiver show on this channel. We drop start-sit shows as well for running backs and wide receivers. Make sure that you catch those throughout the week. And again, real quick, I've got a great announcement coming this week. Super excited about a project I've been working on for a long time. We're going to try to do an extra video about that to get that information out to you guys so we can start using it throughout the season. Good luck in week 6. As always, make sure you're following all of us. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Press the button and subscribe so you can catch us the rest of the season. And we will make sure that we catch you right here again from 12 to 1 for week 7 next Sunday. Thanks so much. Have a great week 6, and we will see you later.
Yep, later. Have a good one, everybody.